Buenos días. My name is Rafa Cordon. I'm CTO at Ibex, and my presentation, basically, I'm going to tell a story about how all this happened, and how we came to build what we have in terms of like a Lightning infrastructure super quickly. And so some of the tips, I'm going to give some tips of the things that we looked at and how we built it. About me, I have a background in database and cloud projects for governments and enterprises, and I came into Bitcoin in 2017. So about Ibex, we're a Bitcoin company based out of Guatemala. So I drove here. It was a 5-hour drive from Guatemala. We were founded in 2018. We call ourselves your local connection to the global marketplace. We have a Bitcoin payment terminal. We call it a BPT. We offer an OTC web platform and Lightning as a service. So a little bit of background on the story. Everybody knows about this. Miami, June 5th, Bitcoin law is announced. And the Ibex team drove down from Guatemala 2 days later and started meeting with companies and government institutions. We started talking to them, trying to understand, okay, what do these people know about Bitcoin? What do they know about the Lightning Network? How can we help them be successful? Our whole mission was, how can we make El Salvador be as successful as possible with Bitcoin? And so in all these meetings with companies and government officials, we realized that we need to help merchants. So if the Bitcoin law is going to be as successful as possible, merchants need to be onboarded. We need to help them accept these Bitcoin payments. And so how can we help them be successful? Well, a large company for example, a restaurant chain, they can't just receive payments in a wallet. They need like a formal, like a more sophisticated enterprise solution where they can receive payments, they can convert Bitcoin to dollars if they need to pay their costs or whatever. They can monitor how many, the different types of restaurants, the different types of channels that they sell. A restaurant has maybe like 3 or 4 different channels, sales channels, so delivery, takeout, dine-in, all these different things. And so we need to build a solution that is easy to implement for these companies, and not just to receive Bitcoin payments, but the whole logistical aspect of rolling out a new payment platform. Typically, a restaurant, if they're going to change their point of sale system, it's going to take a long time, to roll it out. If they have, 100 restaurants, it's a logistical thing. And so we need to build a solution that's as easy as possible for this logistical thing to happen. And it has to be quick. So what do? Tight deadlines. Basically, we set ourselves these really tight deadlines. This was June 5th, and we're like, okay, we have 2 weeks to build a Lightning Network point of sale MVP to start showing to merchants and validating what their specific needs are. And we have 3 months to build a production-grade Lightning as a service solution. So super aggressive timeline, and the team just went crazy. So what happens? The GIFs don't work in PDFs, so, but it was a GIF. Where do we start? First, Lightning Labs. Lightning Labs has great documentation. They have tutorials on how to set up a node. We were very fortunate to work closely with the Lightning Labs people who helped us, figure out where we could start. So that was very helpful. So joining all the Telegram groups and Slack channels, not just Lightning Labs, but for example, all these Telegram groups that were emerging at the time, like PlebNet and Rings of Fire, and now there's a lot of other Telegram groups in Spanish as well. So that was very helpful, reaching out to the community to figure out, because a lot of this stuff is not, you can't just find a single place where you have like A to Z all the instructions. You need to like, put together some pieces. The other thing was researching open source Lightning Network projects. So what other projects we could find that proposed protocols that we should implement in our solution. And the last thing is this like secret tool that we have in our pocket, all these AWS serverless cloud tools, so we can build much faster. And so we had these things in our pocket, and that's where we began building. So what did we build? Basically, this is super high level architecture. We have LND in the back with multiple nodes. We have an LN service, which is like we call it LN service. It's a middleware that lets us easily switch out a node. Then we have Ibex Core. We call it our Custodial Lightning Account Management System, CLAMS for short. And so Ibex Core is where accounts are managed, and we expose that through an API called Ibex Hub. All the authentication and everything is done in the cloud. And Ibex Pay is our merchant solution. Connected to that, we have Ibex Hub Analytics, which lets our customers view their transactions and have better visibility around what their Lightning platform is doing, like what payments are coming in, largest payments, what's the histogram of the distribution of payment sizes, and gives them more visibility around what's happening. And everything is built on AWS. We use a lot of AWS serverless services like Amazon ECS, Amazon Fargate, a bunch of these different services that basically it allows us to build very fast, which was the goal in this project, to build something super fast. So we had to use these tools in order to deliver on our timelines. Future plans. So what are we looking at in the future, or what do we want to implement? The first thing is, so LND, we're going to pull out the database and switch to a Postgres database. We're testing that out right now. Also, there is a new LND feature called leader election, where you can, where it has sort of like an active, passive, high availability architecture, and so we want to add that to our system. We also want to automate liquidity management as much as possible. I know, we still do it manually, and there's a lot of kinks in the system still, and so we want to automate it as much as possible. The other thing is implementing a service mesh. So something in order to have like a zero, what's it called? Zero. I can't remember, but it's an architecture where the internal components need to have permission in order to view each other. So it's a zero trust architecture. That's what it's called. So service mesh is going to help us implement a zero trust architecture, which is like a common thing in financial services. The other thing is we're always looking into emerging application layer protocols. So protocols like LNURL, LNURL Pay, all these emerging protocols, we want to be able to offer them to our Lightning as a Service customers. And so we are currently building out new protocols and having them ready. The other thing is not so much technology, but being able to provide deeper integration with our customers. So since we're talking to all these restaurant chains and retail chains, we understand their specific needs, and each type of business has a different need. So how can we help integrate deeper into their accounting systems, their ERPs, or their proprietary point of sale systems? How can we help the experience be more seamless, the Lightning experience be more seamless? And beyond this, more applications. So we're building a bunch of other applications that leverage the Ibex core system in order to provide to find new use cases that we can apply to Lightning. And so our products, what are our products? I'm trying to go back. Yeah. So Ibex Pay, this is basically the Bitcoin payment terminal. Super simple. Ibex Hub, the Lightning Network as a service. This is sort of how this is the slide that I use to talk to customers. So companies that are starting out with Bitcoin, they want to understand what it is. This is basically the presentation that I give. So we have like Bitcoin in the middle, and then we have this other layer around it called Lightning, and then we build this other middleware layer. And that's sort of how we speak with customers. Results, so how are we doing right now? We have around 10,000 transactions every day. We processed more than 110 Bitcoin since we started back in September 7th. It's a 3% daily growth. So daily growth, 3%, we're growing pretty fast. And we processed almost 300,000 transactions. So it's growing very fast. And so, yeah, how does Ibex Pay work? I wanted to do a demo, but it's a little complicated here. Basically, you generate the invoice, receive the payment. You can see all the payment details, and there's a payment history. And yeah, that's my presentation. We are hiring, so please write to us at careers@Ibex Mercado. We need developers, so. And that's it. Thank you.